Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bachelor Season 29. Is Grant Ellis struggling as the lead because he's too romantic to make smart decisions on the show? His drama with Rose and Carolina tells a story. Grant Ellis has made history as the second black lead of The Bachelor. But his time as The Bachelor has been marked by drama from a few of the women vying for his love. Grant first graced our screens as one of the men trying to win Jen Tran's heart on The Bachelorette Season 21. While he was eliminated before getting to the end of the season, he made an impression on fans and producers alike, and was announced as the new Bachelor late last year. However, his The Bachelor season has been somewhat clunky, with the drama from the women taking up more of the storyline than the actual romances. Perhaps the problem is that Grant's too chill for the job, since he hasn't taken a firm stance on any of the women. Maybe he's trying to be a gentleman. Grant's easygoing nature may be the reason why he seems a bit too soft. For Grant to be successful, he's going to need to express himself more, rather than letting the women's drama overshadow the point of the show, to find true love. From the jump, Grant shared a spark with The Bachelor's Rose Sonk. However, drama ensued after Rose told The Bachelor's Carolina Sofia Quixano that Grant claimed he was thinking about Rose while dancing with Carolina during a date. Carolina then talked about that with Grant. Grant confronted Rose and blamed it on miscommunication. However, he still seemed to be smitten with Rose, refusing to take a strong stand with regard to the drama. He didn't want to hurt any of the women's feelings. The fracas led to Rose ultimately choosing to leave the show, claiming that Carolina's action, telling Grant, was a betrayal. Grant's refusal to accept accountability for the drama ultimately led to him losing his chance with Rose forever. In the episode's Rose ceremony, Grant admitted to being hurt by Rose's departure, although he said he understood her reasoning. Leads on romance reality shows can sometimes get in trouble because they aren't sure whether to listen to their hearts or their heads. In Grant's case, he seems to be dealing with this type of internal conflict. For what it's worth, former Bachelor star Joe Amable told Us Weekly that after the Rose and Carolina drama, Grant needs to start trusting his heart, rather than worrying about hurting the other women. Joe said, "With only 4 episodes having aired, Carolina has certainly made an impact. She's a spitfire and doesn't hesitate to show Grant how she feels about him, which has rubbed some of the other women the wrong way. However, the early stages of The Bachelor are about standing out, which Carolina clearly understands. She puts herself out there, and that strategy is working. She and Grant have chemistry, and she might be a front runner for the final Rose." Now that Rose has left the show because Grant allowed Carolina to meddle, he is free to focus on Carolina, but he might eventually resent her because he lost Rose. If Grant was really into Rose, but didn't want to offend her during her drama with Carolina, it may have appeared to Rose that Grant wasn't sticking up for her. If Rose believed he wasn't really interested in her, and that made her leave the show early, Grant's inability to decisively express his opinions may have cost him a happy ending with Rose. Grant's waffling might end up costing him his chance at love. It's already cost him Rose. Before this season of The Bachelor premiered, he told people that he didn't want to make bad decisions during his time on the show, specifically when it came to the fantasy suites. It's sweet that The Bachelor's Grant doesn't want to hurt anyone or make poor decisions, but it's time for him to be more assertive. He's already told most of the contestants that he could see himself marrying them, which is nice, but counterproductive to the point of the show. He didn't want to hurt Carolina or Rose's feelings after their drama, and in the end, Rose needed him to tell her how he felt, flat out, instead of towing the line. Because he couldn't, Rose chose herself, rather than waiting for him to choose her. From the moment Grant Ellis was announced as the lead for The Bachelor Season 29, fans were buzzing with excitement. The 32-year-old entrepreneur, known for his sweeping romantic gestures and heart-on-his-sleeve demeanor, seemed like the perfect man to navigate the journey of love. But as the season progresses, viewers are starting to wonder, has Grant's relentless pursuit of romance clouded his judgment? His entanglements with frontrunners Rose and Carolina suggest that his love story might be one that leans more toward heartbreak than happily ever after. The fairy tale beginning. Grant's journey started on a high note, with many of the women instantly captivated by his sincerity. He wasn't the type to play games or hold back his emotions, which was a refreshing change from past leads who often kept their cards close to their chest. From the first night, he was already making deep connections, particularly with Rose and Carolina, two of the season's strongest personalities. Rose, a 28-year-old marketing executive from Chicago, was the epitome of elegance and poise. She carried herself with a quiet confidence, never seeming to doubt her place in Grant's heart. Carolina, on the other hand, was a fiery 26-year-old yoga instructor from Miami, known for her vibrant energy and fearless approach to love. Grant was clearly drawn to both women for different reasons. Rose represented stability and grace, while Carolina embodied passion and excitement. The signs of trouble. As the weeks went on, it became clear that Grant was struggling with making objective choices. His infatuation with romance seemed to override any sense of strategy or logic. Instead of focusing on deep compatibility, he was swept away by grand moments, whispered sweet nothings under the stars, passionate kisses in exotic locations, and dramatic declarations of love. This became particularly evident when drama between Rose and Carolina started brewing. The two women, both aware of their strong connections with Grant, naturally became competitive. But while Rose maintained her composed exterior, Carolina was more vocal about her frustrations. She didn't shy away from confronting Grant about his choices, especially when it seemed like he was leading both of them on without considering the emotional fallout. Carolina's bold move. Things reached a boiling point during a group date in Italy. Carolina, feeling neglected, pulled Grant aside and demanded to know where she stood. In true romantic fashion, Grant reassured her with a passionate kiss, telling her, "You have my heart in a way no one else does." The problem? He had told Rose something eerily similar just 2 nights before. When Carolina learned about this, she was furious. She didn't want to be part of a love triangle where Grant was saying all the right things but failing to back them up with decisive action. She confronted him at the next rose ceremony, calling him out for his indecisiveness. "Grant, do you want a fairy tale or a real relationship? Because right now, it feels like you're chasing a fantasy instead of thinking about what actually makes sense," she said, her voice filled with emotion. Grant, visibly shaken, didn't have an answer. And for the first time, it seemed like the reality of his decisions was catching up to him. Rose's patience wears thin. Meanwhile, Rose had been playing the long game, trusting that her calm, unwavering presence would win out in the end. But as she watched Grant struggle between his feelings for Carolina and herself, doubt began to creep in. She started questioning whether he was truly ready for a committed relationship or if he was too caught up in the idea of love to recognize the real thing when it was in front of him. During a heartfelt one-on-one date in Paris, Rose finally voiced her concerns. "I need to know that you're choosing me for the right reasons," she said softly. "Not just because it feels like a fairy tale, but because you know we're actually right for each other." Grant, as always, had the perfect words. "Rose, you're everything I've ever dreamed of," he told her. But was that enough? The fallout. As the season nears its end, the tension between logic and romance continues to define Grant's journey. Fans are divided. Some admire his emotional openness, while others believe he's making reckless choices that will only lead to heartbreak. His inability to make clear decisions is causing frustration among the women and the audience alike. And with hometown dates looming, the stakes have never been higher. If he doesn't start making choices with his head as well as his heart, he might find himself standing alone at the final rose ceremony, wondering where it all went wrong. At its core, The Bachelor is about finding lasting love. not just creating magical moments for the cameras. Grant's struggle highlights a common theme in modern dating. How do you balance passion with practicality?